up, Warriors? Today I kind of wanted to do like a little news brief. I try to shy away from doing that on my channel moving forward because I believe it's kind of pointless to report on all this stuff if, I'm being 100% real. None of this stuff even matters. It's meant to psychologically mess up your psyche and um, interfere with your day-to-day life and your happiness and your peace and your spiritual connection. um, so this obviously everything around us is used for psychological warfare purpose. It's not just used for actually informing you of anything. So anyway, back to what I was aiming to talk about. What I wanted to bring up today is um, is how things are happening around the world, and what I believe a big target's going to be for them in this coming year, especially leading up to 2025. Big thing I think that is going to happen here is that they're going to keep targeting the island nation of Japan. Japan is a huge focal point. It's so westernized, but it's also deeply rich in culture, steeped in their own culture, their own religion, their own values. And Japan's really just like a sacred place. Um, I was in Japan when I was in the US military, when I was in the Navy. I was stationed in Yokosuka, Japan. A beautiful place, more beautiful than I think I've ever been to anywhere. It was serene. It was safe. It was almost like carefree. Um, and the reason I say that is because when you go from like American society to Japanese society, it's day and night. Not that America is the worst place to be living, but it's not great. It's really not great, and I think it's obviously only going to get worse from here. Back then, that was that was over 10 years ago. So America wasn't too bad at that point. Hadn't gotten as bad as it's getting now, but it was still pretty noticeable the difference between Japanese culture and in the lifestyle that was being lived there, and the demeanor of people, and the aspect of being able to not have to look over your shoulder, relative safety. My point in all this is that Japan and places like maybe even like South Korea, other far East Asian countries, they're going to be targets of attacks, not just weather weapons, but whatever else they got on the docket to try and kind of take care of business, get this plan moving right along faster. Um, and the reason I believe this is because they can't have anywhere safe. They can't have anywhere that's safe to go. They can't really. They want to crush our spirits. They want to crush all our hope. Um, and I believe that Japan specifically is going to be a big target in this whole agenda. And it's easy to blame it on earthquakes and seismic activity because that country is literally placed on um, huge fault lines and ring of fire and all that. So it's an easy country to kind of tear down if we look at it in the aspect that they have these kind of weapons, they have this kind of capability to do this stuff to these places. Um, so I think Japan is definitely in the crosshairs, especially this year and into 2025. I mean, all the way up, what we're working towards is 2030. America is easy to take care of. Europe's easy to take care of. These places are already being completely destroyed from the inside out, politics and what have you. Um, it's not just normal migration from people that actually want to be here and do things um, to better themselves. It's clear that this migration is being used as a weapon, and you know, it's Donald Trump and all this other stuff. these people are brainwashed to think that is actually going to help this situation if they vote their way into another president that they think is going to handle any of this. It's not going to do anything. Okay, it's really not going to do anything. And for if you don't believe me, if you don't choose to believe that, just just wait until it happens. I don't know if Donald Trump's going to get elected. I don't know who's going to get elected, but I could tell you, it would all work out the same way. I could promise you that much. Either way, what I wanted to talk about that was interesting about this fallout, I think that is going to occur with Japan, and why this is significant anyway in the first place. Besides, losing a great ally to the United States, and such a beautiful, enriched culture that is, blooming with like real moral and integrity. Um, Besides destroying that, because they want to get all of that off of the earth before they, um, like plunge us all into a dystopian future, because they don't want any morality. They don't want any kind of principles to be established. They want all of that to be gone. They want all that culture, all that heritage. They want it all to be gone, because they want it to be forgotten about. They want it. They want this world to have no hope. Anyway, what makes this significant in my eyes, besides all of that, is the fact that U.S. Steel, U.S. Steel has just made a deal with a Japanese company, to basically sell off all of U.S. Steel. They said, "Oh, it will still be headquartered in Pittsburgh and all this other stuff," which that could easily change. I mean, it's not guaranteed they can say anything they want. Anybody can say anything they want, and anybody can put any kind of clause into a contract. That contract can be broken, and those promises can be broken. So, if that does happen, don't be surprised. But anyway, this whole deal that was made, with Nippon, the steel manufacturer that is in Japan that acquired U.S. Steel, um, they are a leading uh, producer in steel all throughout the world. Um, and I don't know what number they're at. They're in the top 10 steel producers though in the whole world. So, uh, you know, these Japanese companies are acquiring these steel companies. Why this matters is because we're selling off the infrastructure, um, another source of, um, not only revenue but a very valuable commodity in the world, when it comes to building, when it comes to creating, manufacturing. Steel is very important. Steel is used in, most, not only just objects, through your day-to-day life, but in constructions of buildings, vehicles, all of that. And the reason this is a problem is if they keep attacking Japan, like I am kind of foreseeing it happening. If they keep attacking Japan, then what are we supposed to do about the steel production? Um, yeah, they may keep some places open here on in the Mon Valley and in Pittsburgh and everything. But if your headquarters is going through a crisis and you're getting shut down, then who's going to supply that money to, um, to support the steel industry or support the plant or whatever? You know, where is that money going to come from? Because if we look into it, Japan also is not doing the best financially, as is most of the world is not doing the best financially. But Japan is suffering, from a significant, economic disruption. It's usually, Japan is pretty good at, uh, fighting off the inflation and loss in value of yen and everything else. But like everything else with this whole world economy, uh, things are pretty at a pretty low point right now, and Japan is no exception. So if they have some kind of financial collapse, that too would affect the steel industry. That too would affect the plants and these corporations that were acquired by Nippon. So um, this is a big issue, and also because they do use steel to make weapons and make other types of goods for warfare. Japan did supply the United States with a Patriot missile, with with some, if they're providing us with weapons, then obviously America's not producing those weapons. So if they do destroy Japan, this will affect our country and the infrastructure. So we can get more into that at a later time, but I just wanted to bring that to some people's attention that this is what's going down. So there are deals being made to foreign countries. Also, those foreign interests aren't necessarily looking out for our best interests as well, especially if they're getting targeted by a system that they can't fight against. So just something to look out for. That's where I'm going to leave it for today. I'll have more videos on the way. Stay vigilant and go in peace. This is Jay out.